Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bear Show, Apocalypse 2021. We're up to 106,000 subs. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. Obviously, comments are welcome here in the live stream and down below after this live stream posts as a video. We appreciate that. That helps us do battle against the YouTube algorithm. So thank you for that. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you send your intel, and patreon.com is where you go to get the behind the scenes content, the deep dive content, the 100 pieces of content per month, to get your notifications every morning when we go live and to help support the show. It's $1 a month or $10 a year. Go to They're Independent. See what I did there? Ha ha ha. Current issues 9 December 20. Earlier this year, manufacturers and retailers thought the ammo shortage would continue until at least the end of the year. Newsflash, it's December. Vista Outdoors CEO and director made it clear during last month's quarterly earnings call that due to the overwhelming demand this year for ammunitions, it now appears that the ammo shortage will continue far into 2021. Production is increasing to catch up to demand, but it will take time to overtake the large gap. NSSF data, that's easy to say, NSSF, one more time, we'll try it. NSSF data reveals a 6.2 million new shooter spike in 2020. So that's no big deal. From AmericanRifleman.org, titled, Ammo Shortage Will Last Deep into 2021. Hashtag lung butter. Comments made by Vista Outdoor CEO and director Christopher Metz during the company's quarterly earnings call last month indicate ammunition will continue to be scarce well into 2021. Actually, AmericanRifleman.org, you need to police yourself. You wrote continue to be scare. You were trying to say scarce. You dropped a Charlie there. It's okay. Quote, we currently have over a year's worth of orders for ammunition in excess of $1 billion. Let's repeat that. We currently have over a year's worth of orders for ammunition in excess of $1 billion, he said in his opening remarks. Meaning that right now, if no more orders come in, they have a year's worth of work to do currently. So the orders that they have right now would be filled sometime, or completely filled, sometime around this time in 2021. That's damn near 2022 for those of us who know how to do calendar things. This is unprecedented for our company, with demand far outstripping supply and inventory levels in the channel at all-time lows. We will see strong demand continuing. He cautioned there are noticeable differences between today's low cartridge inventories and that of 2016, which may indicate the current situation may be longer lasting. Metz explained the volume of new shooters is one driving factor. Quote, according to data from the NSSF, there are 6.2 million new shooters in 2020. This rate is more than twice the number of new shooters in the former surge. Anecdotally, there is no shortage of reports of sold-out shooting ranges and backlogged firearm safety classes around the country. So 6.2 million new shooters, people are still shooting. People are still getting their CCWs. As they should be. In addition, the broader demographic of enthusiasts has led to an increase in participation as they learn and enjoy their new purchases, he said. Data from the NSSF indicates these shooters are more diverse, with large increases in both women and people of color entering the sport. I don't know if I would call defending myself a sport, but I do realize that the optics of calling this thing a sport is much more preferable than saying that women and people of color have decided to take no shit from their government. So, whatever. Major Ken, there is a backlog on permits and CCW times. Copy that. We have cleared inventory in all resale and wholesale locations. We have cleaned inventory in all retail and wholesale locations, Met said. Despite us producing flat out for 6 months, there is no buildup of inventory at any of our customers. In fact, every one of them would like significantly more. Simply put, consumer demand continues to outpace our ability to supply. The good news is that Vista Outdoors has purchased the ammunition factory in Lone Oak, Arkansas, formerly owned by Remington Outdoor, and churning it back toward production at or near full capacity. The Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette reports 300 employees furloughed by the former owner of the plant will soon be recalled to join nearly 400 still working at the facility. Regardless of manufacturer, demand is heavy and inventory is low. The trend began in early 2020, and as early as August, during Olin's quarterly report, the parent company of Winchester Ammunition, company CEO John Fisher warned investors that, quote, "We expect this elevated level of demand to continue at least until the end of the year." Well, the end of the year is upon us, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel for the AmmoPocalypse of 2020 and 2021. So I figured we should talk about that before we talk about, did you see that Texas filed with the Supreme Court? Yes, I did. Oh my God. I know. Simmer down, bro. It's incredible. Take a deep breath and learn to make your shots count if you think it's gonna be Civil War 2, because there ain't no ammo, bro. Okay? There ain't no ammo, bro. It's all manufactured by the reptilian overlords to make sure that we can't stand up to tyranny. Maybe. I'm sure the reptilian overlords wanted 6.2 million new gun owners. Supply and demand, supply chain logistics. These are things that I would recommend researching before. Fixed bayonets, Mitch. 300 Win Mag battle rifles. POTUS should order sale of ammunition inventories to civilian purchase. Booger dog, there is none. There is none. At Booger dog, that's not how any of this works. Good morning, Blue Ranches. Bless y'all. Tremendous. Believe it. Believe it. If we built a wall out of these wrenches, it would be blue, a beautiful blue, like the water at Mir Lago. Believe it. It's beautiful, tremendous. A wall made of wrenches. It's not very valuable, but I would love it. It would be beautiful. Adjustable wrenches. You have to adjust them. Open, closed, closed, open. For the bolts, the different bolts. Believe it. The Cannon, Shark Coast Tactical in Sarasota, Florida. More guns and ammo than anywhere on the website, too. Have fun, nation. Good morning. Appreciate the report. Speaking of the report, let's get back into it. The outrage against absurd. You know what? Actually, before we go there, we are going to go there because everybody wants to talk about Civil War 19 or whatever. From TexasTribune.org, under the heading of Texas 2020 elections. In new lawsuit, Texas contests election results in Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And there's a lovely picture of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton right here. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing 4 battleground states, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, whose election results handed the White House to President-elect Joe Biden. I am over the term president-elect, by the way. We're just going to say Joe Biden. In the suit, he claims the pandemic-era changes to election procedures in those states violated federal law and asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block the states from voting in the Electoral College. That's an interesting move. Straight to SCOTUS Supreme Court of the United States of America. Supreme Court would be weird, but I just got in my head if you had like a box of donuts, they were all like cream-filled donuts, and there was 9 of them, and each one was decorated appropriately to reflect each justice of the Supreme Court, and you could get a special deal like that and 4 coffees for like $97 because it's a federal level deal. So the Supreme Court, probably Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts, either one of y'all, you're welcome to use that, but I want $12 per Supreme Court box of donuts sold, donated to Grindstone Ministries. Okay. In the suit, we talked about that. The last minute bid, which legal experts have already characterized as a long shot, comes alongside dozens of similar attempts by President Donald Trump and his political allies. The majority of those lawsuits have already failed. There's no evidence of widespread fraud in the 2020 election. Officials in most states and U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr have said Biden won in all 4 states where Paxton is challenging the results. In a filing to the High Court Tuesday, Paxton claims the 4 battleground states broke the law by instituting pandemic-related changes to election policies, whether through executive fiat or friendly lawsuits, thereby weakening ballot integrity. I would agree with that statement. The executive doesn't have the authority to change the regulations or the statutes around voting. That's the legislature. Good morning, my love. The cows are saying hi. Did you hear him? Also, the toddler's asleep on the couch because she woke up at some point with a leg cramp. And so she and I slept sideways on the couch. Boom. Hashtag dad stuff.
Good job, Dad.
That's how we roll. In a filing to the High Court Thursday, we already did that. Paxton claimed that these changes allow for voter fraud to occur, a conclusion experts and election officials have rejected, and said the court should push back a 14th of December deadline by which states must appoint their presidential electors. Quote, that deadline, however, should not cement a potentially illegitimate election result in the middle of this storm, attorneys for Texas wrote. In an interview late Tuesday with Fox News, Paxton reiterated his argument that if those states acted out of accordance with the Constitution, Texans would also be affected. Our job, quote, is to make sure that the Constitution is followed and that every vote counts, he said. In this case, I'm not sure every vote was counted, not in the right way, end quote. I would agree with that statement. Officials in Georgia, where Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger recertified the state's election results again Monday after a recount, were quick to dismiss Paxton's allegations, as were leaders in other 3 states named in the lawsuit. Quote, the allegations in the lawsuits are false and irresponsible, Georgia's Deputy Secretary of State Jordan Fuchs said in a statement Tuesday. Texas alleges that there are 80,000 forged signatures on absentee ballots in Georgia, but they don't bring forward a single person who this happened to. That's because it didn't happen, says the quote of Sir Fuchs. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel dismissed Paxton's suit in a publicity stunt as a publicity stunt, not a serious legal pleading. Quote, Mr. Paxton's actions are beneath the dignity of the state of the office of the Attorney General and the people of the great state of Texas, she said. She needs an elbow off the top rope, it sounds like. Paxton and Trump are political allies whose interests often line up in court, as with Texas's challenge to the Affordable Care Act. Paxton, in public appearances, often characterizes their relationship as a friendly one, sharing the story of the time the president called while Paxton was in the shower. Gross. Paxton, who had been under indictment since 2015 for felony securities fraud charges, is facing fresh criminal allegations from 8 of his top deputies, who said they believe he broke the law by using the agency to do favors for a political donor. The FBI is investigating Paxton over those claims. According to the Associated Press, Paxton has denied the wrongdoing. Notably, Paxton himself is listed as the agency's lead attorney on the case, a highly unusual role for the state official who rarely plays a hands-on role, even in the state's major cases. Paxton's new chief deputy, Brent Webster, signed on the filing, but conspicuously absent is the agency's top lawyer for the appellate work, blah, 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 blah. Gosh dang, that article drones on and on and on and on. Nobody gives a crap about the details. The long and short here is Texas State Attorney General filed a suit with the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, saying these 4 states done effed up and we need a recount. The people in those 4 states are saying, no, we didn't. And he's saying, yes, you did. And the Supreme Court is going to decide whether they didn't or did. Okay. Maybe if they choose to take up the case. In the meanwhile, all the poo will be slung in between the two parties. From one to the other, there will be defamations. There'll be name callings. They will key each other's cars. They will graffiti terrible phrases on each other's lovely mortared brick homes. Somebody might throw some toilet paper in one of the trees in their front yard. This will go back and forth and back and forth. Obviously, unless you're new here, obviously, I believe that President Trump won in a landslide victory in the 2020 presidential election, and that the Democrats pulled all type of shenanigans in order to steal the election, which is one of the reasons that YouTube likes to shut our live streams down. Also, you're not supposed to touch firearms on a live stream. Oh, I didn't touch it, so I'm good to go. Yeah, I didn't touch it. All right. I honestly don't know. There are days I am more hopeful and less hopeful about this whole election fraud shenaniganry. What's up? One of the cows got a bloody horn. So, and in other news, one of the cows has a bloody horn. So, we will use a chainsaw, cut the horn off. The cow will bleed to death. We'll cut the cow up with said chainsaw, throw it on the grill, and steaks for everybody.
Yeah. Not helping.
That helps. That helps me. Now, in other news, this is a badass med kit, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. You can get it at refugemedical.com. Where can you get it? Refugemedical.com. Refugemedical.com. All right, and so this is made by humans in America, guaranteed forever. If you break it, I'll buy you another one. If you use the stuff in it to save you to save a life, I'll buy you another one. It's guaranteed forever. How long is forever? It's in between now and when the world ends. If you break this in between now and when the world ends, I will replace it for you. These are on 4 continents with 4 branches of the armed forces of the United States of America. They're used by a lot of law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMS, and civilian sheepdogs like you. You can mount this on your molly, on your plate carrier, your chest rig, your war belt, the side of your face, if you weave your beard into a molly pattern, which I'm seriously thinking about doing at this point. You put this on your kit. Oh no, I've been hit. Ah, you pop this open. You got your combat gauze right there on the top. You're going to add that at checkout, the combat gauze right there, okay? You see the red tab right here? You pull this out. Now you got a purpose-built, handmade, guaranteed forever blowout kit in your hand. And also, just while we're here, see that little flag right there? It says made in the USA. That's because it's made in the USA. Oh, and it's also about $100 cheaper than all the Chinesian bullshit competition that everybody else, all the big names, are trying to steal from us right now. One of which egregiously copied our pattern. And when I called them on their bullshit, they were like, we've been working on this for over a year. And I said, that's cool. We've had ours for over 2. Stop. Why would they try and copy it? Because it does this. Okay, so now you're holding in your hand a purpose-built blowout kit to deal with the MAR of the March algorithm. This is the bare minimum, which handles massive bleeding airway and respiratory. The bare FAC, which both of these exceed military specification for combat life-saving and for individual first aid kits, handles the entirety of the March algorithm: massive bleeding airway, respiratory, circulation, head injuries, and hypothermia. Okay, so you got your 6-inch North American Rescue pressure bandage. You've got a 14-gauge decompression needle for tension in the thorax right here in the middle. You've got your Gen 7 cat tourniquet. You've got your nitro gloves, because if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. And then down here in the bottom of the kit, see, you got this whole pouch right here, what we call the stack. And in the stack, we have, and I'm doing this with cold gloved hands, which should illustrate the fact that it's set up to be convenient for you to use when there's poop in your drawers and your heart rate is this and people are shooting at you and it's bad news. Okay, so you got your 7 1/4-inch North American Rescue EMT shears here with the O2 bottle opening right there. These are real shears, they're not fake shears. You've got a 28 French nasal pharyngeal airway for maintaining airway. You've got 2 5x9 gauze pads right here. And you've got not 1, but 2, not compact, but full-size high-fin chest seals right here for essentially sealing holes in the box in your chesticles region, because you don't want to deal with a sucking chest wound. And if you do have a sucking chest wound, you're going to need some type of occlusive dressing. And yeah, you probably could MacGyver one out of some bubble gum and duct tape and part of your radiator, but maybe you should just have a couple of chest seals instead, because if you're going to try and improvise in a TCCC scenario, you're going to probably die, which is why we make purpose-built, guaranteed forever blowout kits right here, which is why people who are in military and law enforcement buy them, because they're better than what they are issued. So if you would like to get one of these, you can get it at refugemedical.com. You can use the promo code Bear Nation, should get you $10 off, not $10 off, 10% off anything in the store at refugemedical.com. We got IFAKs, we got combat lifesaver kits, we got tourniquets, we got SWAT tees, we got compressed gauze, we got the combat gauze, we got EMT shears, we got chest rigs. You need a stomp bag? We got a stomp bag. You need a mass casualty kit? Got it. You need a public access bleeding kit? We got one of those. We got all those things. We got the whole nine. Come on down to Uncle Michael's refugemedical.com. Everything in the store, 10% off, promo code Bear Nation. Roger. All right, let's do it. Moving right along. The outrage against absurd tyrannical orders is going public more and more. A viral video showed a restaurant owner breaking into tears as she showed the special event tents, reportedly for outdoor dining for a movie company in the lot adjacent to her business that she had been forced to close. According to her, the governor approved this for Hollywood while shuttering her restaurant next door. Even well-known people with public reputations to lose are expressing their disapproval. Celebrity chef Andrew Gruel. Pause. Gruel? Really? That's your last name? You're a chef and your last name is Gruel? Gruel? Okay, I'm just saying. Because when I think gruel, I don't think delicious. I think, please, sir, may I have another? You know, like, not a wonderful. And you're in Hollywood, so just change your last name like everybody else. Anyway, celebrity chef Andrew Gruel posted a video in which he vowed to keep his restaurants open for an outdoor dining, despite Governor Gavin Newsom's order banning outdoor dining. Quote, at every single juncture along the way here, from the beginning shutdown to today, we've listened to all the advice from government officials, only to be shut down over and over and over again. And then, not compensated for the elements that we put in place in our businesses in order to protect our customers. I am not an asshole. The governor is. End quote. Another celebrity, Kirstie Alley, who was hot back in the day, but now is not, has said that while the American people continue to suffer under the directives of politicians, those politicians should forego their salaries, tweeting, quote, leadership leads by example, and from the top, end quote. And I have an article to read to you as well, assuming that I can find it, and I may or may not use my narrator voice. In a world gone crazy with pandemic fear, there was one man, Vester Dillon, who could save the Bear Nation. Over here from The Blaze, theblaze.com. It's a small news outfit you may have heard of. We have an article titled, it's 8 December 20, staggering data shows just how destructive COVID-related lockdowns have been on the restaurant industry. And we'll read that a little bit. You know what? We'll read that a little bit, but first I'd like to see y'all in the comments. How's everybody having a wonderful day so far? What's going on? Plain prepper, that's lovely. Is there anything in that kit you could cook a steak with after you patch yourself up? Well, I carry a knife and a lighter with me everywhere I go, so yes. Mad Kelt, awesome. So far, so good. Good morning from Texas. It's good now. Are you born and raised from Kansas? Yeah, you caught me. I am born and raised from Kansas. That is correct. It's my wife's birthday. What? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear lovely Dudley.
Oh, Noel.
Happy birthday to you. And many more. Mm-hmm. This lighter es mucho suco. No, Spice Girls, it is not. Early and late are relative constructs based upon what you consider to be normal, sir or madam. Earl's daughter, Shalom. Good morning, everybody. All the blue wrenches, the best. These are the best wrenches of the blue. Blue's the best color. It's a power color. But don't make me go red. You won't like it when I wear red. There'll be blood. There will be blood. Blessed to be alive. Getting ready for the first interview in 20 minutes. Amen, Brother Matt. Amen. All right. What else we got? Woohoo! Says X-Man 2112. X-Man 2112 has been partying too hard. It's 8:20 in the morning, and he's woohooing pretty hard. Can I laser your logo on something to send you? I really don't know. I really don't know. We
Send it to Hami and Renee.
Email admin at Bear Independent. Sabaton or Metallica? Death, individual thought patterns, and symbolic is how you answer that question appropriately. Or maybe Heartwork by Carcass. Or At the Heart of Winter by Immortal. That's a hell of an album right there. Amon Amarth or Tyr. There you go. Tyr has some very talented musicians in it. What about Old Arch Enemy back in the day with the before the chick singer? Those guys could tear it up. Michael Ammett, hell of a guitar player. But now we're talking about Carcass again. Aren't we really? Aren't we really? Exactly. Get out of here, Lars. Really, Lars, the last drums that Lars played that were even worth listening to were on Dyer's Evon and Justice for All. That song actually has some drums that are relatively, I wouldn't even say they're difficult, they're moderately difficult for an average drummer to play. That is Lars's best performance on drums, period. Alice in Chains. Tool. Yeah, I can get down with some Tool. Musically, I don't like the atmospheric stuff, honestly. Their drummer is very good drummer. Very mathematical, methodical drummer. Yeah, Beastie, Dyer's Eve, like I just said. The Beatles, well, you caught me. You caught me. That's true. The Beatles. The Beatles are one of my favorite hardcore death metal bands. They are they're incredible. Let's see. A report with positive implications has recently emerged. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should be used as ballast, or was also named Employee of the Month by the Hispanic company Goya Foods after she brought publicity to an attempted boycott of the company. As reported here previously, that boycott was a reaction to the fact that the CEO said in a speech, quote, "We're all truly blessed at the same time to have a leader like President Trump, who is a builder," end quote. The publicity from AOC's support of the boycott led to a counter movement disgusted by the divisive hatred, which resulted in a 1,000% increase in sales. Okay, well, Refuge Medical is truly blessed at the same time to have a leader like President Trump, who is a builder. Okay, good. We got that out of the way. Interestingly, Doug Schoen, a Democratic pollster, has said that according to his data, if Democrats go the progressive route with calls of defund the police and continue to push socialistic policies, then they will suffer massive losses in the 2022 elections. That is, of course, assuming that severe anomalies will not be present in those elections, as they appear to have been this year. Well, some would call it severe anomalies. Some might say the reptilian overlords, and who knows who is right. At this point, I don't know anymore. Staggering data about, that's right, we were looking at that. Staggering data of about the destructive COVID-19 related lockdowns in the restaurant industry. The National Restaurant Association published this, again, this is from The Blaze. Chris Enlow wrote this article. Thanks, Chris. Good morning from the Bear Nation. The National Restaurant Association published a report Monday detailing the destructive consequences that coronavirus-related lockdowns have had on the restaurant industry nationwide. Who'd have thought? According to data shared with congressional leadership, the NRA, not the Rifle Association, the Restaurant Association, said that 110,000 restaurants, or about 17% of all eateries nationwide, have shut their doors long-term or permanently since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing lockdowns. Quote, the vast majority of permanently closed restaurants were well-established businesses and fixtures in their communities. On average, these restaurants have been in business for 16 years, and 16% had been open for at least 30 years, the NRA said. Lovely little stock photo of a restaurant there. In fact, the NRA found that 87% of full-service restaurants reported, on average, a 36% drop in revenue during the pandemic. So over 1/3 of total revenue gone. While revenue is projected to continue tanking for at least the next 3 months. But the problems don't end there. Because restaurants have spent money modifying their business plans to accommodate takeout businesses and indoor dining regulations, Restaurants told the NRA that expenditures are actually, on average, greater than in pre-pandemic times. So, higher cost of doing business, 1/3 less revenue. For nearly 9 months, restaurants, our nation's second largest private sector employer, have been in an economic freefall as a result of mandated closures and capacity limits due to the coronavirus pandemic, the letter to congressional leadership read. In the letter, Sean Kennedy, the NRA's vice president for public affairs, implored Congress to pass economic relief for the restaurant industry. Here's where things get a little screwy. This whole economic relief thing, no. And I realize that's an unpopular opinion, but instead of begging your government daddy to subsidize your existence, just do your freaking job. Stand up. Just do your job. No, you can't tell me I can't work. 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. He who has denied the faith, he who does not work has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Thank you, mouth. Good job, mouth. We must work. I, as a free American, don't have to ask your opinion or your permission to work. I am commanded by my Creator to provide for my family, to provide for my loved ones, and to murder that chicken. The government does not get to tell me what I can and can't do. Are people hurting? Yeah. But instead of treating the symptoms as to why they're hurting, maybe we should treat the disease. Your governor doesn't get to tell you what you can and can't do, regardless of what's going on out there. The government enforces existing laws. The governor enforces existing laws. Period. The end. We all know that this pandemic is a freaking smokescreen. It's so deadly, you have to get tested to know if you have it. Well, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure they didn't have that problem during the Black Plague when 1 in 3 people was dropping dead. It's like, wow, this is really bad. We should barricade ourselves inside of any building or structure we can find and not go out there and be people-y because we could die. That is not what we're experiencing now. Have people died from coronavirus? Yes. Have a lot more people had their deaths attributed to coronavirus? Yes. Do we need to shut down the global economy? Hell no. Why are we shutting down the global economy? To create the socioeconomic, to till the socioeconomic ground, to plant the seeds of the Great Reset. Why? Because it dovetails with China's goals of overtaking the United States economically by 2027. Why? Because the Great Reset definitely is interested in stakeholder capitalism, which is what China has, not what we have. And while what we have is in no way perfect, it's a far sight better than what anybody else has. And all this comes back around to asking permission from somebody else as to how you might be allowed to live your life. If you think the people who founded this country thought that was a good idea, GTFO, bro. That is not how things run here, and we've let it get that way long enough. I'm over it. I'm not asking anybody's permission to do anything, period, the end. You do not get to tell me how I live my life. You cannot constitutionally infringe my life, my liberty, or the pursuit of my happiness. The end. I will feed my family. I will operate my businesses. I will travel as I see fit. The end. And hundreds of millions of Americans should be saying the same thing. Not, please, sir, may I have another handout, sir? Yes, sir, I'll put this diaper on my face, sir. Whatever you say, sir, sounds good, sir. If it's okay with you, could I maybe send my kids to school, sir? Would it be all right? Do you mind if I travel, sir? Is that okay with you? Bullshit. Over it. back to this article. What these findings make clear is more than 500,000 restaurants of every business type, franchise, chain, and independent are in an unprecedented economic decline. You think you've told them to keep their friggin' doors closed for the last 9 months. They didn't earn any money. If you were to graph that, it would look like an unprecedented economic decline. This is not rocket science. Businesses earn money. If they don't earn money, they can't business. The end. And for every month that passes without a solution from Congress, thousands more restaurants across the country will close their doors for good. Congressional inaction, stymied by House Democrats wanting to spend trillions of dollars on a second economic relief package, has unfortunately led to the closure of at least 10,000 additional restaurants over the last several months. People are rioting in Poland because of government tyranny, but here in the United States, we're like, okay, whatever you say, boss, not a problem. I'll just stay in my house because the virus that has a 99.8 something percent survivability rate might give me a cold for a few days. You're correct. Yep, whatever you say, boss. Whatever you say. They're not even going to have to take your guns. They've already got your compliance. What are you going to do when they come to take your guns? It doesn't matter at this point. They already have your compliance because they're leading you around by your tummy and by your wallet because you let them. In short, the restaurant industry simply cannot wait for relief any longer. Efforts in Washington to find the perfect solution are laudable, but the lack of progress in the meantime has led too many operators to give up on the government and close down for good, he wrote. Since our last update, less than 3 months ago, an additional 10,000 restaurants have closed. As leaders in mostly Democratic-controlled states continue to enact business-killing restrictions, those same leaders are apparently handing out passes to industries like Hollywood. In fact, in a video that went viral over the weekend, Los Angeles area restaurant owner, who is currently prohibited from operating indoor and outdoor dining, showed that a TV production crew was given a pass by the city to operate outdoor dining tents for their production crews. Those tents were just feet away from her restaurant. Here's a little thought. Governments derived their authority, their just powers, from the consent of the governed. I do not consent. You are therefore illegitimate. Here's what we could do. Right, we're in Los Angeles. Here's an idea. Go find, right, because we're talking about legitimacy, which ultimately is projected through strength. Why don't you go find some MS-13? Honestly, about 20 of them. And say, listen here, bro. I'm going to make you guys the best friggin' tamales you've ever had. I just need you to stand outside of here and look tough when the cops show up so that I can run my business. I'm going to run my business, okay? Or whatever.
Yes, baby. No, baby. Miss Melissa's coming here.
When you have the ability to be dangerous, you have the ability to be free. When you don't have the ability to be dangerous, you do not have the ability to be free. And I am appalled at how many Americans have been cuckolded by this system. It feels like nobody has a spine anymore. It feels like nobody has any balls anymore. It feels like people just are sitting around letting this happen and complaining about it the whole way, but doing nothing to stop it. The entire premise of this situation is bullshit. They don't have the authority to do this unless you let them. And you're letting them. Stop. Say no. This restaurant owner went on to say, I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here. And people wonder why I'm protesting and why I have had enough. Well, if you want to protest, protest. Open your damn doors and start cooking, lady. She later continued, Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom are responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. Well, they are responsible in that they've created the parameters that are having this type of fallout, but they're also not. You want to know why they're not responsible? Because they're not your daddy. You do you, boo, as Pastor Joe would say. But men with guns will come and give me a fine. Men with guns will come and take me to jail. Okay. If that's enough to control your behavior and actions, what are you going to do when men with guns are, we're going to take back our country again? Okay, cool. Go for it. Yeah, but men with guns might give me a ticket, so bad idea. Uh-huh. In response, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti claimed to have sympathy for struggling businesses in his city, but in the same breath called the severe restrictions necessary. That D-bag said, quote, my heart goes out to Miss Marsden and to the workers at the Pineapple Hill Saloon who have to comply with state and county public health restrictions that close outdoor dining. Garcetti told the New York Times, quote, no one likes these restrictions, but I do support them as our hospital ICU beds fill to capacity and cases have increased by 500%. We must stop this virus before it kills thousands of more Angelenos. We must stop this virus that has a 99.8% survivability rate and is so deadly that you have to get tested to know whether or not you have it. This is a fraud. This is a sham. This is bullshit. And people need to start acting like it. Everywhere. All the time. Always. A simple, no, I'm not doing that, or no, you can't tell me what to do, would really be welcome at this point in society. Earl's daughter. Yeah. Corporal Jigsaw Quandary, global sacrifice. Indeed. My hands are cold. That's a good track. Corporal Jigsaw Quandary. The best words. Tremendous. Not wearing a mask, not take the vaccine, I will not comply. Myself or anybody else here as well. Agreed. Yeah, the zombie apocalypse is now. All of these zombies are wearing panties on their face. The level to which people will comply, the level of non-confrontation is appalling. It's appalling. And then just to clarify, because I'm sure many people will be making hay out of this, the headline from One American News Network: President Trump signs COVID vaccine executive order. 8 December 20, yesterday. The president signed an executive order Tuesday ensuring the American people will receive a COVID-19 vaccine before the U.S. starts aiding other countries. So understand that's the crux of this executive order. The Marines are not going to come and put you at gunpoint and force you to stick this in your arm, at least at this point. That's not what this executive order is about. The president signed an executive order Tuesday ensuring the American people will receive a COVID-19 vaccine before the U.S. starts aiding other countries. This falls in line with the administration's America First policy, which has been followed throughout the president's time in office. On Thursday, an FDA panel will be meeting with vaccine makers Pfizer and BioNTech to decide whether to grant them emergency use authorization. Last week, sources said the vaccine developed by those companies could be approved by as early as Friday. Additionally, the FDA is planning to discuss Moderna's vaccine on 17 December. The executive order contains guidelines on how federal health and finance officials should interact with foreign countries to help bring an end to the coronavirus pandemic. The plan will reportedly emphasize working with wealthy foreign countries who are able to procure large amounts of effective vaccines. For less wealthy countries, it calls for leveraging of resources to help them obtain vaccines as well as other medical supplies necessary to contain the virus. Blah, 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 blah. With the initial 40 million doses in the next month, then we're going to just progressively keep adding more and more people. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. The presidential executive order on COVID-19 is not about you must take the vaccine. It's just about Americans will get it before anybody else gets it. I saw somebody made the comment, I wear a mask in public only because I work with infants. And you know what? Here's the deal. That's cool. What I mean by that is you need to figure out what you need to do with your life so that you can operate where you are at. That's going to be vastly different than me and me operating where I'm at. Why? Because our government is supposed to respect individuals and provide for individual freedoms because we're all individuals. You know, the smallest, the most effective special interest group is the individual. That's why federal rule is so counterintuitive to individual rights, because the lowest common denominator is one person. And so we should not be making rules for everybody on a vast level. We're individuals. You can't tell me what's right for my life because my life is my life. You can suggest, you can strongly try to cajole me. You might even entice me, like with this new stimulus bill. You could try to do all of those things. But I'm an individual. My rights come from my creator, not from my government. And that government's authority comes from my consent to be governed. From your consent to be governed. I see a lot of I will not comply, and I agree with that. But we should have a lot of I do not consent right now with these tyrannical measures. No, simply no, I'm not doing that. I cannot do that. I will not let my family suffer because some man somewhere in some office had a good idea. Negative. That person does not understand me. They do not understand my way of life. Hell, I don't understand my way of life half the time. They don't get it. They're not here. They don't have intimate knowledge of our situation and why we need to do what we need to do. So ergo, they don't get to issue broad credos about how I can and cannot, or may not, or do not. That's not how this government was set up. It's become that because we've let it, because the American populace has become lazy, and because it's hard to bite the hand that feeds you. They don't feed me. I'm talking about another round of stimulus. I've never got one dime. I'm not going to. You know why? Because I'm a white male that owns 3 businesses. How's that for racism? It'll never happen. That's okay. I don't need their bullshit money anyway. What I need is to be left alone. Leave me alone. Don't make me the enemy. Gesundheit. Don't make me the enemy. And it sure feels like they're trying, man. Hey, that rooster right there, gonna die. No, I'd say I even brought the 22 out here. I had enough of him this morning. GrindstoneMinistries.com. Now's where about 200 to 300 of y'all jump off because you don't care about human trafficking victims and victims of sex crimes. You don't like it when we pray. You don't like it when we talk to the Father. And that's okay. It's all right. You do you. You just maybe ask yourself before you go ahead and jump off the live stream, why is it that I don't give a shit about 8-year-olds that are being sold for sex? That's an interesting question. We do. We have massive ambitions for 2021. They're going to cost somewhere between $2 and $4 million. And we're supported by y'all. And we love y'all for supporting us and doing what we do. I have a huge announcement to make, but I'm about a week away from being able to make it. And suffice it to say that we are significantly building our war chest to be able to operate on the level we intend to operate on, to provide a biblical covering to orphans and to break generational curses and to restore people through the love of Messiah, broken people, because hurt people hurt people. And if you'd like to help us do that, you can partner with us at grindstoneministries.com. You can also drink coffee. disastercoffee.com. It's damn good coffee. They started the company so that they could earn revenue to tithe to people like us. That's why they started the company in the first place. Their heart's in the right place. Disastercoffee.com. Amendment 1 preparedness, the best damn prepper commo gear on the face of the earth. You need a radio? Amendment 1 preparedness.com. Our radio gear comes from A1P. Amendment 1 preparedness.com. And of course, sanctifiedsupplyco.com. If you're a human who wears clothes, you should probably check out sanctifiedsupplyco.com. Patriot Plumber, good morning, brother. Shabba dabba doo, silver linings. This comes from your intel at Bear Independent. You guys send this good news to intel@bearindependent.com. Multiple members of the Bear Nation submitted silver linings that revealed how others were being benefited by them. One helped in a no-contact drop-off of bags of food for 600 families. Others shared scripture with families and coworkers, and others have been teaching much-needed skills. It's awesome. Another viewer says, after watching Bear for the last 8 months and being inspired, I stepped up my family's preps, and we have made significant progress. The biggest achievement being we sold our tract home in a large PHX suburb and have relocated 25 acres in southwestern Missouri. We will have chickens on property in 2 weeks with hair sheep and cattle to follow. Garden prep has started. Thank you for the encouragement and inspiration. Bless y'all. That's awesome. And a viewer, a man with multiple sclerosis, says, today I personally handled over 300 square bales of hay from the field to the trailer to the barn just to feed our animals during the winter. The reason for this email is to let people know that they can do the things. No matter what age or what condition they are in, they can do it. In the past 6 months, my wife and I have personally butchered 2 cows and 9 lambs for a freezer. That's a lot of work on its own. Hard work will show anyone they are still strong and tough. Amen. If you're looking for folks like that, you can find them in the forums at bearindependent.com, so you can build your little apocalypse team for the end of the world, or hang out on your back porch at Tuesday. Bear Nation, I appreciate y'all. We have got to be the light. We have got to show people that we're not going to stand for this tyrannical bullshit. There was a lot of civil disobedience in the 60s. People saw what was going on. And I feel like people need to see now people standing up for their rights, standing up against tyranny, and just simply saying no. No. I am a man. You do not own me. I do not belong to you. I belong to the creator of the universe. He made me. He's in charge of me, and he will tell me what I can and cannot do. But I will not submit to any authority of man that is unjust. And the only way that authority is just is through the consent of the governed. That is what we are supposed to have here. And gosh dang it, people need to start acting like it. And so if we can help people realize that, if we can model that for people, if we can educate people on that, I feel like we need to. Because I don't want this place to fall apart. I'm ready if it does, but I don't want it to. I want to raise my kids. I want all the work that we are putting in right now, all the effort that we're making right now, to be able to be enjoyed. And I am disgusted with how so many Americans, so many Christians will just capitulate in the face of something difficult or uncomfortable. You don't deserve freedom if you fold that easily. You give the rest of us a bad name. I don't let people like that breathe my air. We don't let weakness in the camp. And I don't condone it at all. And you reap what you sow. You really do. You reap what you sow. If you don't put in any effort, you're going to starve to death. You plant bad fruit, you're going to starve to death. If you're eating somebody else's fruit, sooner or later, you're going to starve to death. Justifiably. And that's the disgusting part. Because people won't put in the work on the macro or the micro. They just won't put in the work. It's too hard. I'll just let my government daddy take care of me. I'm over it. That government daddy fills his wallet out of my bank account. And I do not consent, and I will not comply. And I will not go rescue all the lazy assholes who refuse to take personal responsibility either. But if we can be the example for those that are willing to stand up and say no, but don't know how to, there might be a win there for us. Let's talk to the Father. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for the sunshine and for a beautiful morning. And Father, thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. Father, I pray that you would be indwelt in me this very moment. Father, I pray that you would continue to convict us, that you would work in us and through us to be your hands and feet, Father, and that you would show us what to do and that you would provide for us to do it. Father Yah, give us peace. Give me peace that surpasses all understanding, Father. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. And Father, fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for wisdom and discernment, for strength and power and authority in the face of adversity, for healing and for peace, Father. Father Yah, let your will be done. And let us get as in line with your will as possible. Use us to be your hands and feet. Father, put us where you need us. Build testimony in us and through us. Father, give us the stones to stand up in the face of adversity. Father, let us be brave apostles, men and women of you who fear not man and fear not death. Father Yah, build something new in us. Build something new with us. Father, bless us. Father, thank you for making a way for us to come home to you through the blood of your Son. And thank you for giving us a life and teaching us how to live it through Yeshua Messiah. We ask all these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.